Hello, hello! A while ago I made a Anshan first impressions after I had been gifted this ship, and I was honestly quite impressed with it, or I enjoyed playing it a lot. But I only had very few captain points and it was basically my first game, so I decided to make a proper commentary of this ship. Now, I really like the different type of camo it has, if you can't tell. I like the look of this ship. But anyway, here's a full commentary of this said ship. Everything I said in my first impressions have proved to be true, even more strongly so. The AP and HE on the ship is immensely satisfying to use. Most of all because the cannon sounds on the ship are amazing. I love the cannon sounds on the ship. You'll hear them in just a bit. Now this is a T5 to T7 game, I think. I see Colorados, I see Atlantas, I see. Oh, is that a New Orleans? No, it's in New Mexico. Okay, so it's about T5 to T7 and your T6. So this is about the average matchmaking that you will face. There's no carrier in this game, but carriers actually don't matter that much to Anshan, since it's basically a Russian DD, meaning most of the time you'll be detected anyways while you're firing. If you're not detected, it's because you're hiding behind islands or you're smoking up. But most of the time you'll be using your speed and agility to avoid shells, not actually concealment like Japanese DDs. That's why the fact that there's no CV here doesn't really matter that much. I just noticed I had AP loaded since it saves your past loadouts these days. I kind of mess that up quite often, so I quickly switched to HE. Basically just scouting around. As you can see, I'm going very aggressive with this ship because... Oh, that cannon sound. I love it. Wait, I'm going to be quiet just so you can hear it. It really sounds like a massive meaty cannon being fired. Anyways, I'm being aggressive since, first of all, I'm not afraid of any other gunboat at this tier, like T5, T6, T7 in this Anshan, because the guns are really meaty and powerful on this ship. The biggest drawback the guns have is the turret traverse though, so I'm noticing these guys are spotting me, and I know there's a Pensacola and Königsberg and stuff on the other side, so I'm basically keeping this island between me and them. So even if they can see me, they have a hard time landing shots, because basically I'm using the terrain to my advantage while I'm fighting these two DDs. As you saw the shells landing there, that was the Pensacola trying to hit me, but because of the way I'm maneuvering and keeping the terrain between me and them, the cruisers have a hard time supporting their DDs. Meanwhile, I'm obviously just wrecking these DDs. These shells hit hard and they do a lot of module damage because it's hard hitting, heavy hitting HE shells, so you tend to break shit every now and then, which is quite satisfying. The Hatsuharu is quite certainly dead. Managed to secure it there. So there was a kamikaze here somewhere. Did he die as well? I think he might have died as well. So now I'm popping an offensive smoke. Once again, as I told you earlier, most of the time being detected, as you can tell, doesn't really matter. That's why carriers don't have as much of an impact on this ship as they do on, for example, Japanese DDs that rely entirely on concealment to survive. This one, you just need speed. Speed and agility, basically. You avoid shells or you smoke up, one or the other. Shit, the plume was going backwards. I was trying to see... It's really hard when you're looking straight at them to see which way the plumes are going, especially since they tend to load as you zoom in. Like they render then, so it takes a while for them to actually show. You see, when I zoomed in there was no smoke plumes, and then they started appearing, because the game engine only renders them like at the last moment. Now you saw these torps, they looked like they were going to miss, but I know that I'm going to use AP on this Pensacola, and I'm obviously going for a Citadel, so I'm counting on the fact that I will probably break his engine once or twice, and or he will panic or something, start turning, because you see I'm landing Citadels on him, and this will cause him to basically eat those torps anyway, which is exactly what happened. So that's the Pensacola down. I landed 3 Citadels on him. The Citadels do quite a lot of damage. It's 2.5k each with these shells, so that was 7.5k in just Citadel damage, plus all the other AP hits that obviously easily pen a cruiser from this range. As I said before, I really like the guns on this ship, especially now that I have the turret traverse. One of the issues with the stock Anshan is that the turret traverse is 30 seconds, but you can remedy that very quickly by getting the early captain points, putting them into, I think it's called Experts Marksman, whatever, the turret traverse perk, and that reduces it from 30 seconds to 21.2, which makes it a lot more enjoyable to play when you don't have to wait half a minute every time you basically shift sides on your ship. Using some HE on long range because Clevelands have very weak protection against HE, so no point trying to pen him with AP from this range when HE is much more reliable damage. And I'm not really trying to kill him, I'm basically just pumping out some additional damage as I'm moving towards B, my ultimate plan going to C and capping C. If I happen to get some fires here, that's nice. The fire chance isn't too bad on this, I think it's like 8% like it's on Russian deities. So you'll have a higher chance of setting a fire than American deities, but of course in return you have either less guns or a slower rate of fire. That's usually the trade-off the Russian deities do, or make. Okay, broadside. This time there's a broadside, so obviously I'm switching from HE to AP straight away. Russian cruisers can be a bit tricky to citadel at times, but that doesn't mean that your AP damage would still be quite impressive. That was a 1.6k volley. Starting to shoot back now. Do I want to smoke up? Kind of having no issues dodging his shells so far, because 10 kilometer range is quite hard to actually hit me, but he got a hit now, so I instantly smoked up. Like, why risk any additional damage? Oh, got a citadel. That should be the kill. That is the kill. That's how strong the guns really are on the ship. Very satisfying guns to use. Now I could sit in the smoke and shoot this Nagata, but I don't want to play that passive. I want to go help at C as well. So basically just speeding up straight towards C. I'm I have a bit of a weakness now that the fact that I don't have a smoke up for 2 minutes, which can come back to haunt me. But I want to play more aggressive. Basically, I don't want to sit in the smoke just trying to spam that Nagata. See if I can maybe secure this Cleveland. He's got 8k HP, which isn't really that much. And Cleveland at this ranges has a very hard time hitting me. Oh, hello, Königsberg. That should be him then. Checking where my shells are going. Are they hitting? Yep. Perfect hit. Good. Another kill secured. Oh shit. This is what you get when you don't pay proper attention to the minimap. Now I'm actually in serious trouble. This is serious trouble. Oh shit. I need to disengage, and I need to disengage fast. Trying to put some torps. I expect him to turn straight towards me, which is pretty much exactly what he's doing. If I had HE loaded there, I might have killed that Mutsuki, but I had AP loaded, which kind of came back to bite me. Okay, I'm very much in trouble now. If you notice there, I waited with my repair until his volley was mid-air, so basically any module damage he did with that volley I repaired while it was in air. Now I'm basically trying to get behind this island while I'm shooting him. This is my only chance of saving myself. He's too close to be able to completely outrun him, so I'm just counting on basically getting into cover, using the terrain to my advantage. Because I miscalculated there. The lack of smoke came back to haunt me as I expected, and I wasn't paying enough attention to the minimap, so I didn't notice the Cleveland was sneaking up on me from that side, or well, sneaking into A. But now I'm fine. I managed to get into cover behind the island, and my repair will be coming up since I'm using the premium repair that costs 22.5k credits, which I highly recommend everyone use on every ship. So I managed to survive it, even if I was cutting it very close at 384. But that was just, it wasn't so much the smoke that came back to haunt me, even if it did. It was the fact that I wasn't paying proper attention to the minimap, which is something I try to always highlight. You see I'm detected, so it means the Mitsuki is here. I'm definitely gonna go try to kill him. Need to kill him fast though. One volley from him might kill me. I think he wasted time torping or something. I'm not certain what he was doing. I got Kraken there then. My guess is he torped first. Yeah, he torped first. That was stupid. That's actually something you see very often on Japanese DDs, is that when you engage them in firefights, they tend to torp you instead of just shooting, whereas shooting might often secure the kills, but torps are fairly easy to avoid. Anyway, we secured the victory. This was a pretty short game. I managed to get my Kraken though, so I'm quite happy about that. Damage is probably not going to be anything special, not really, no. But it was a 9-minute 30-second game, and I got 2k base XP, and it was the first win of the day, so
as usual,
pretty
I'll
nice.
start with the modules.
This actually has some modules, even though it's a premium. You can choose between short-range torps or long-range torps. I highly recommend the long-range ones, since you only give up 5 knots of speed and just a bit of reload, and in turn you get 4 kilometers extra range. You basically double your range, and with these you can stealth torp, and these still have a respectable speed of 60 knots. It's not very fast, but it makes them usable. So, and 4 kilometer ones are just so short, and since you don't really get a damage increase either, I see no reason to not use these better long range ones. Upgrade wise, main battery, of course you saw how much I used my guns. Accuracy, you saw how much I used my guns. Damage control mod instead of propulsion mod, because you have last stand. And steering gear modification, since you want that rudder shift. Everything else is fairly, I mean, propulsion would be an option, but honestly, you stay so much on the move and you have to dodge so many torps on the ship. I would recommend just getting steering gears instead. Since this is T6, it's right on the edge of getting that kamikaze torpedo spam, so being able to avoid is, in my opinion, more important. Captain perk wise, situation awareness, you gotta know if you're detected, very important. This one is just a flat out, basically 10% reload, and considering almost all your damage comes from your guns, this is basically a 10% damage increase. So take this one straight away, very, very good. Now I recommend both last stand and expert marksman on this ship. Last stand, obviously, so you can save your reloads, or save your repair for fires, repairing your guns and such. And expert marksman, simply because this gives a huge buff. The default turret traverse on the ship is actually quite bad. It's 30 seconds, but with the help of this buff you get it down to 21.2, which is not nearly as bad. It's basically 9 seconds you're cutting off your turret traverse just with this perk. So highly recommend it. On the third point perk, here you got some options. You can go superintendent as I did, or you can go for vigilance. Once again, entirely up to you which one you choose. There's the option of perhaps picking vigilance here, and then in modules, instead of taking rudder shift, you get propulsion mod. So you can see the torpedoes earlier, but you can't turn as well. Like you got some freedom of choice here. Personally, I prefer the superintendent, since I tend to use offensive smokes quite a lot. Fourth perk, once again, personally I prefer advanced firing training, since it brings your range to a massive 14.3 kilometers. But once again, there's some freedom of choice here. You can choose both demolition expert, or you can choose this one. Entirely up to you. Fifth perk, there is no question, or 5-point perk, there's no question about what you should choose. It's absolutely concealment expert. That's the way to go, since I think the ship will become absolutely amazing if you manage to get a captain far enough to get concealment expert. Literally god tier ship at that point, but that's far in the future. Right now, this would be my current spec to use. Anyway, that was my short but hopefully sweet Anshan commentary. I hope you enjoyed it.